Welcome, everybody. Say hello if you are here. We are today going to talk about creating powerful affirmations to support you. I love this topic because I think so many people can benefit from affirmations, and the reason for that being because it allows us to be so much more intentional, and we can really start to set an intention and then follow through with our action. So say hello if you are here. Comment live if you are watching me right now. I see I do have some live viewers, so say hello. If you're watching the replay, when this goes up for replay, comment replay and let me know that you are here. So we are going to talk about what is an affirmation. We're going to jump right in. I'm going to let my dog in really quick. All right. We are good to go. She's in. If she's not in, she will be scratching my door until she is in. So what is an affirmation? An affirmation is what we typically are reminded of when we think of like a positive mantra. So it could be an I am statement. Earlier today on Instagram and Facebook, I actually shared my May affirmations, and so I'll give you my examples here. So I said, I am intentional with my time. My life is full of abundance and magic. I am brimming with energy. Everything always works out for me. I am creatively and intuitively guided, and I am fully supported in life, love, and business. So these are the affirmations that I'm using right now, and of course, yours will probably look different than that, but those are some good starting points, some good examples. So if you have ever used affirmations in your life, whether that's a regular affirmation practice or you've heard of them, let me know. Drop a 1 in the comments. If you have never used affirmations before, drop a 2 in the comments and let me know that you're new to this. So let's talk about how they work. So my background is mechanical engineering, and I work with a lot of engineers, and I talk to a lot of people, a lot of very techie people, but I have a component of my business that is all about, our dream life, manifesting, vision boarding. I've done so many vision board workshops, and they're so fun for me and so fun for the attendees as well. So I like to take a pretty balanced approach. Of course, we can say with affirmations, they work to reprogram our subconscious mind, reprogram our beliefs. But I also like to just say these are what we can be really intentional about. And so we can look at it in the similar vein as goal setting or intention setting. They help us build our new identity. And there's a big component of the law of attraction there with, if you want to go that route and you want to be more spiritual or more woo-woo about it. So it's to each their own. They train our minds to seek opportunity, because when we're doing an affirmation practice, what we're doing is saying these affirmations on a daily basis, or as often as makes sense for you. But I really like to start my day with affirmations, and a lot of other people have wrapped this in to their morning routine. So what we're doing here is we're saying things that are really important to us, and we're training our mind to look for the opportunities to make that thing true. Okay, so it's kind of like we're bringing it front and center. That's how I like to look at it. It has been shown, actually, though, affirmations, as woo as they might be, they do drive behavioral changes. And then 2 other things I found: improve mood and lower stress. So these were 3 tangible outcomes that have been studied with the whole idea of having an affirmation practice. So it's not just like this big pie in the sky kind of concept. There is some scientific foundation here. And if you know me, you know I kind of bridge the gap between like spirituality and science, or more of the technical aspect of personal development. So that's kind of my explanation on it. So let's talk about how to start. So, I mean, where do we begin? For this, I have kind of laid out a plan of action that I think is a good place to start if you have never approached affirmations before. So what I like to say is look at the triggers, look at problem areas, and look at your desires. Okay, so the really easy way for us to start with a lot of where do we begin with this is looking at our triggers, because those are messages for us, and those give us a lot of information. If we look at problem areas, we can see that there's room for growth. And then on the flip side of that, maybe it's not a problem area, but it's a desire, something that we have not fully reached yet, then we also want to take that into consideration when we're building these affirmations. So when we think about how many to have, if you're having this as part of your morning routine, that's completely up to you. You could have one, that's like your mantra. You could have 10. I think right now I have 10, maybe 11. And I just, every morning, I go down my list. I'll share a kind of a funny story with you. I have done so many vision board workshops since 2020, digital, online, virtual meeting for these companies. I've worked with Google, LinkedIn, actually. We just did a vision board workshop, Dell, all kinds of companies. And I share this story sometimes. When I have been intentional in the past, and I have honed in on what are the things that I really desire to bring to me. What are the things that I want in my life? What do I want my relationships to look like? How do I want to feel? And I hone in on that, and I get really intentional about it. Then I need to follow up. So I don't just like forget about it, put it in the closet somewhere. I need to follow up and cultivate this awareness and this I'm working towards this on really a daily basis. So I will share with you, which I shared with vision board workshop attendees in the past. There have been times where life got really, really busy, and I was like, okay, I made my intentions in January. I set out all these different goals. I created my vision board, and then I didn't even print it. I didn't do anything with it. I just basically tucked it away, and life got in the way, and I was not checking in every single day with myself. Well, during that time, I hardly achieved any of the things on my list. In fact, I forgot what was even on my list that I had set the intention for. So as I would check in throughout the year, I was like, oh, wow, that's right. I did say I wanted to do that. There's no way I could achieve that now because of whatever type of goal it was. So I have seen this in my own life, that when you don't have it in front of you, when it's not front and center, you're not aligning to it and you're not taking that intentional action. So the years that I have had a really solid practice, and I have really honed in and continually followed up and checked in with myself, reminded myself, okay, this is what we're working towards. When I have done that, I just crush my goals. Like, it is amazing. Right now, every single morning I look at, I think I have like 12 goals for 2023. I look at all of my goals. We have some family goals. My kid has some goals for herself, right? So I am looking at, these are the things I've laid out for myself personally and for my business. And these are the things that I want to really make sure that I am being intentional with and pulling in the support for that. And so the affirmations of that, like, I am intentional with my time. I, over the last couple of weeks, have cut my workday down to like 4 or 5 hours. And so supporting that I am intentional with my time, like, there's an action behind that. The affirmation is supporting the action that I'm actually taking. So that was a bit of a tangent, but I wanted to just spend some time there so you can see. So when we're starting the affirmation practice and we're creating these things, there is something called the Wheel of Life. And this is actually, I have this. This is what it looks like. It's a wheel, and it's got different areas. So different kind of categories of life. You have personal growth, finance, career, your home environment, recreation and fun, your significant other, friends and family, health, if I didn't say that already. So the Wheel of Life is something that I love using with clients sometimes, because they're like, okay, where do I start with improving in my life? And we take a whole look. Let's see, holistically, where should you start? And so if you want the Wheel of Life, I have a download I can just shoot over to you. I don't even need your email for it. And I can shoot that over to you. Just comment or DM me Wheel of Life, and I will give you what this looks like here. Okay, so the point of doing that is finding out, okay, how are we doing in these different areas of life? And when we know that, then sometimes we say, okay, I really want to grow in my financial life. So let's have a financially motivated affirmation. Or I really want to grow in my relationship to self. Okay, so we can create and craft this affirmation around that. So really important to identify the gaps. If you are wanting some improvements, where do you want to go and where are you right now? And then that affirmation can kind of facilitate putting you on that trajectory to get from point A to point B. So how do we create them for ourselves? So this is a fun practice. This is a fun time for you to grab a piece of paper and something to write with, and think of some things that are really important to you right now. So I gave you some examples in the beginning of this. After we get off, you can watch the replay and find some of those examples again if you're stuck. I also have 2 different affirmation blog posts on my website, flourishbymichelle.com. So you're welcome to take a peek around there, but we want to stay in the present tense. Okay, so the present tense. And that's because we want this to be what we can do right now, how we can feel right now. We don't want to say 5 years from now, or in the past I was like this. No, we want it to be this present tense sort of thing. So using an I am statement is very common. I want to tell you, though, you don't have to just use the I am statement. Like, all your affirmations don't have to start with I am. One of my affirmations is money flows easily to me, right? There's no I am in that. But I am in the present tense, right? So money is currently flowing easily to me. I'm not saying money will come my way in the future. We also want to note it's not the negative thing you don't want. So a good way to think about this is if you have a child, you never want to tell your kid, stop doing this. Typically, even if you do say that, you want to follow up with, you can do this. So we don't want to put our focus on the thing that we don't want. And sometimes I've seen different people reach out to me about affirmations and what they've come up with. And so that does become an area that we tweak because they're putting in words that are exactly what they don't want. So instead of saying, I don't doubt myself, we say something like, I am my true, authentic self. Or I increase my self-esteem, not I don't have low self-esteem anymore, right? We're in the present tense with that, but you're calling in the negative thing that you don't want. So we don't want to do that. We also want to nurture the feeling. So we want to nurture the feeling. What that means is the affirmation magic really lies in the emotional connection to what we are talking about here. So what we say out loud. Do we have that emotional connection? Have we nurtured the feeling that we want to create here? So we want to make sure that we are closely tied and in alignment with the thing that we have said, okay, this is going to be what I bring into my life every day. This is what I'm going to say every day of my life, Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, whatever it is for you. We want to make sure that that's really aligned and that it brings about some sort of feeling. So is it aligned? Is it important to you? Would it make you happy? So that's a really good, just very basic check as you're kind of reviewing what you come up with. Is it important? Does this matter in the grand scheme of things? Would it make you happy? Is this an outcome that you actually want in your life? And I mention this here because over the course of doing my vision board workshops, sometimes people will come with something that they don't actually want, but they think that they should have. And other people have told them, this is what I think is good for you. This is what I think you should have. No, we're not living other people's dreams. We are not going to, in our affirmation practice, allow other people's opinions of what we should have and the outside pressures that many of us have dealt with. We're not going to let them dictate what the affirmation is for us. This is such a special thing for you. This is for you only. No one even has to know what your affirmations are. Okay, and then we want to make sure that it's not too far out of our current belief system. So what I mean with that is also, when I'm talking to people about these big dreams that they have, and we're working on that, sometimes they are like going for the stars, right? Shoot for the moon, at least you'll land among the stars, whatever that saying is. That's all fine and dandy. However, I want to make sure that you are absolutely going after big dreams and that you're feeling good about it. But if it's too far away, if you just can't believe it, if it's out of your current belief system, then it's really not going to resonate with you. So a good example for this is if you say, I want to make $1 million next year, but you've never even reached 6 figures, you are not going to be totally in alignment that that's even what you can do. Or if you're like, I want a successful business, and you have no idea how to do any of that, that might just be too far out of what you currently believe about your abilities, about yourself. This is not to kind of like dim the light here. This is not to make your dreams smaller, but we do want to make sure that we can expand in a way that we still feel good about the expansion versus when things like self-sabotage come in, because that could be for many people when they expand too fast, that self-sabotage probably needs its own live stream, thinking about all of this. But when we expand too fast, if we think about, okay, if you've never made 6 figures here, if you're making $50,000 a year and then you're saying, I want to make $1 million. Okay, how do you think life would be when you make $1 million? What does that mean to you? Because for a lot of people, what that means to them is, oh my God, that would be so scary. Like, I would just be terrified of, after I got to that level, I would be so scared that I would ruin everything, or I would lose my business, or I would sabotage the company or something like that. So we want to make sure that it's within and maybe a little bit out of our comfort zone, but in our current belief system for what we think is really possible for us in a very safe way. So when I talk about this is kind of like our nervous system plays a role in this. And so we want to be cognizant of that. That is biology. That is our subconscious mind coming up, and our actual physiology, our nervous system playing a role in keeping us safe. Okay, so why they don't work. I've covered this a little bit already, but they're not aligned. If it's not aligned, it's not really going to make an impact for you. So if you've had affirmations in the past, or maybe this is your first time doing this, if you want this to be successful for you, where you feel really good, where this is an enjoyable process, we want to make sure that you can believe it, you're not scared of it, it is aligned and it's meaningful to you, it's valuable to you, and we want to make sure that we feel something when we say it. So it's not going to work if you just don't feel anything when you say it, if you don't have that emotional connection to it, if it's not meaningful in your life, right? So we want to make sure that we think this is actually important to our highest and greatest good, and the good of other people as well. So I'm very big on that. Sacred life mission is very, very important to me, and for the people I work with as well. So I want to make sure that, okay, is this going to have a good impact? And a good check for determining if something is not aligned, or if it's not like, if you feel weird when you say it, I want you to check in. So what do you feel in your body? This is such a tangible thing for you to do, such a tangible exercise for you to tune in, cultivate your interoception here, your relationship with your physical body. Tune in. I have a worksheet on this. It's totally free. You can have access to it. It's not blocked behind a wall or anything. tinyurl.com/body worksheet. This will give you a good starting point for how to do what I just talked about, for how to find how you feel in your body, because that right there is a huge indication, like the first indication, one of the most important indications for us to start to identify, am I expanding in a good way, or am I contracting because I'm scared? Does this bring up fears? Does this amplify things that aren't aligned, things that I don't care about? Do I have no feeling at all? Do I feel numb? Do I feel disconnected with this thing here? Okay. So the last thing I want, before we wrap up, the last thing I want to remind you of is where people go wrong with manifestation. So affirmations are a great support in our overall ecosystem of improving our life, personal growth, self-growth, all of that personal development kind of stuff. We can't just say it and then not do anything about it. So what I always say to people when I'm working with them on this manifestation practice and this new way of being in our journey to achieve our dreams, it is intention. So we need to I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a second here. It's intention. We're getting really clear on what we want. And sometimes that's the journey in and of itself. Like for some people, they don't know where to start, and that's okay. There's no pressure. So we want the intention. If you know what you want, we want to get really clear on that. Plus, action in alignment with the desired outcome. So a lot of people have the intention part down, and this is what I see, especially online, when people are talking about, oh, I want to manifest things. I want I want this shiny car in my driveway. I want this new house. These are a lot of tangible things. For the way that I work with people, it's not just it's not just like the materialistic things. It's stuff outside of that. It's the relationships we want, how we want to be, what we want to feel, the experiences we want to have, right? But a lot of people get really intentional about that, and then they take no action. And they're not open to taking the action. They're like, okay, just deliver it. Like, I'm ready for it. Okay. And you're not ready for it, because if you were ready for it, you would be taking the actions, and you'd be expanding, and you'd be calling more of this goodness into your life. So it's always going to have that action component associated with it, which is part of the reason why I love affirmations so much, because you have them lined out. I highly, highly recommend that you spend some time, that you do this, that you just dedicate that time to you and to creating this new version of some aspect of your reality, whatever that is: health, wellness, money, relationships, fun, home, whatever it is for you. So we take this time, and then we pair it with, okay, I've said the affirmation. Now, how do I show up in the world? How do I go out and make this come true for me? What are the opportunities that I look for when I say something like, I am a money magnet? Then I'm starting to see opportunity there. When I say I'm intentional with my time, okay, how? I come back to that all day long. If I'm taking a lunch break and scrolling my phone, I might get stuck there for 10 minutes or something, and then I'm like, wait a minute, no, I am intentional with my time. Does this matter to me? Sometimes it does matter to me, and I'm like, yeah, I want to catch up with some friends here. I want to chat with a couple of people. I want to see something, but a lot of the times it's like, this is noise. I don't need this. This is not helping me, right? So we want to follow our intentions up, the things that we say we want to follow that up with action. Okay, thank you for coming to the Flourish Live show today, hanging out with me for a little bit. Leave any questions you have below in the comments, wherever you're seeing this. If you have questions, or if you want to share your affirmations with me, I would love to hear what you have come up with yourself. If you're like, I'm not really sure this is exactly how I want it, I'd be happy to talk to you about it, because I think this is just such a beautiful practice for us to include into our life. All right, my friends, thank you. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you next week.